And I want to thank everybody for coming. What is today? Today is the 9th of May, right? 2017. And somebody I know weighs in on Tuesday. Do you know anybody that weighs in on Tuesday?
Yeah.
Oh. Does anybody want to share their success for the last 2 weeks?
So the last 2 weeks has been 10 pounds.
Nice.
Yay!
And what are the non-scale victories, Sue?
I'm off of 2 of my breathing medicines, and I sleep better at night. I feel great.
Your sugar level's better, except for in the morning.
Yeah, my
That's
blood
right. I remember reading that.
Yeah.
I paid attention this morning.
It's really cool. John, tell us about you. Uh-oh, you're muted.
John, you're muted, baby.
I'm going to unmute him. Now you're unmuted.
There you go.
Am I muted now?
Nope. You can talk. He's in the computer room. You're in the living room.
Yes.
And I'm right next door. And so is Tony.
Yes.
We're all within a very close circle of each other. Marcia is just down the street. She's in the back 40. Go ahead, John. Tell us about you.
I said that I lost 15 pounds in the last 2 weeks.
Wow. Congrats. Wow, excellent.
And I don't know how many inches, but I know there's inches because I wore a shirt to church Sunday that I haven't been able to get into, and it was loose.
Wow.
It fit him nice.
I'm sorry?
It fits you nice.
Yeah. And I have my blood sugar has been between 105 and 70. So,
Oh.
awesome.
Yeah.
Did you cut back on your medication or?
I haven't yet, but I'll talk to the doctor about it.
Yeah, otherwise you might bottom out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Been mostly in the 90s, 80s and 90s, mostly.
And that's good. That's very good. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you like best about the program? You're a newbie. We all been around it for a long time. Let's see what we forgot. What do you like best about the program, Sue?
I can have chocolate.
I like that the best too. Look at Dorothy up there.
What did you say?
She said she can have chocolate.
The chocolate. Oh.
Yeah, that's when we have dieted before.
Mm-hmm.
Chocolate was always my failure.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
And me too.
Tonight I'm going to make him a chocolate brownie.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to try one of the cheesecake things.
Oh, I love them.
They're good. The cheesecake swirls.
I love
them. Good.
Those are my 2 go-tos, both of those.
Yeah. I'll make those after the meeting.
There you go.
I add extra cinnamon to the cheesecake swirl.
Did you? That's a good idea. I know I would add cinnamon to my cereal. Yeah. My
Yeah. Well, and I just got on the scale and I broke from my heaviest to now. I haven't been under 170 in I don't know how long, and I made it by like 0.2 of a pound. So I'm under. So I've lost now a total of 70 pounds in the last just over 2.5 years, and kept it off. So
amazing.
That's pretty good. I wish I could use the product. A lot of them I really, really, really love the taste of and whatnot, but I just can't. So
they have adverse reaction on her. So what do you like least about the program? Nothing.
Not really. No, I can't.
They complain about how much food it is. They do complain.
I know for me, when I first started the program, I had a hard time getting in the whole 6 meals because I would get busy and it would be late at night, and I'd be eating one on top of the other, literally an hour apart, because I would get busy and forget.
Yeah.
But as time goes by, I have a regular routine that I do at a certain time now. But when I first started, it was like, I got to get all of these in because I need all those vitamins.
John would be like that if I didn't keep him regulated.
Yeah, he's saying, I got to eat again.
Yeah.
Every time I turn around, she's bringing me another bar.
So
Set an alarm on your phone.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a really good suggestion. John, what do you like best about the program?
You're not hungry, for one thing.
That's big. I agree. That was a big one for me.
I think the support and the society around it, because when you're doing it on your own, you know, you're the only one you're going to disappoint. Now you're going to disappoint others.
It does make a difference. I think it also makes a difference having like-minded company, you know?
Yeah.
When you're with people who are eating excessive amounts of food that are empty calories and you're hanging out with them, it's not really likely you're going to skip that. And so when you're with people who are working on their health and watching what they eat, it helps you do the same thing. John has to go buy 3 Dunkin' Donuts.
That's the thing I hate the worst about the program is that I can't have a frozen culotta mocha from Dunkin' Donuts every day.
That's funny. Congratulations, guys. You're doing
that's
awesome.
great.
You're doing awesome. You know, when we first brought the program here to the Cove, so many people, you know, there was at least 9, 10, 12 people on it before I ever become a coach, and they were part of the reason that made me become a coach. But we had a lady at the gate. Her name was Shirley, and she passed away here recently. And John and Sue shared an experience with me that they had on the property. And it's made me, as I'm sitting here digesting it with them, it made me think about Shirley. And Shirley, she really had a huge addiction to food, She has a twin. And they were both, I'm trying to remember what their weight was. Shirley's weight was more than Ruth. Shirley was up to like 275 or something like that. But maybe she was really higher than that because she got down to like 250. And she took so much grief in here that she would actually ask me not to tell people when she was getting her food. She'd want her food delivered here. And Shirley eventually just caved into that negative pressure that was on her. And she went back eating worse than she ever did. And she went over, you remember, Marcia, Shirley, before she passed away, how big she had gotten, remember?
Yeah.
And she was doing so good, and just a kind word from anyone, or at least not nagging her constantly about, you know, that don't work. You know, you're going to put that weight back on. You know, that stuff. Here she comes. Look at her. She's got that cardboard she's eating. And Shirley could not stand up underneath that. And as a result of that, she went back to her old habits and she quit caring. And she just passed away this past month. And it really all could have been avoided. It'd be nice if we had the support of everyone.
Yes.
But we don't have the support of everyone. And we probably all have our own story when it comes to something like that. Dorothy and Lisa and I are going, you know, we're working on that, preparing our stories. And it has really been an interesting process. I don't have my glasses here. So we thought we would share our stories with you guys tonight and show you how far we've come with this speech coach that prepares people for TEDx talks. You know, I asked her when I was meeting with her, I said, have you ever watched Elizabeth Smart's TED Talk, you know, because we all watched it last week.
Yeah.
And she said, you know, I haven't, or if I have, I don't remember it. She said, but I've worked many times with John, her father. So she's familiar with those people. That in itself is good credentials, I would say. Who wants to go first? Because I'm going to go get my glasses.
I'll go ahead and read mine, but I do have some. I have some writing on mine, and I've changed a few more things. So,
well, you know what? Maybe people here could help us and give us some insight. We're having our meeting with Allison. She's the speech coach tomorrow night. So, go ahead, Dorothy.
I didn't change the wording. I just changed the paragraphs, but I'm going to read it the old way. Okay.
Right.
My name is Dorothy, and I'm the second oldest of 7 children who grew up in a somewhat dysfunctional family. And if that wasn't hard enough, we lived in 6 different homes by the time I was in the 1st grade. My mom got tired of renting homes and bravely put a deposit on a little 2-bedroom home in the suburbs. We finally had a real home, and my dad added a bedroom in the attic that I shared with my 2 sisters. We didn't have much growing up, but Mom always made sure that we went to church and had healthy food to eat, and she made the best chocolate cake. We had to make sure that we cleaned our plates or we wouldn't get dessert. Food was my security and comfort, as it was the only thing that didn't change by the minute. As I grew older, every time I felt frustrated or disappointed, I would return to that safe place. The problem with comfort food is it isn't always the best for you, and what makes it even worse is feeling that you need to have the biggest piece of that chocolate cake because somehow it makes you feel more loved. In my lifetime, I tried almost every weight loss program and lost and gained hundreds of pounds. In fact, I once needed to lose weight for a special occasion, and after I reached my goal, I gained it all back, plus a few pounds more, because I had frozen all of my favorite things that I couldn't eat on the diet. I quickly began my journey right back to where I started by rewarding myself by eating everything that I had frozen. I never even thought about the damage that I was doing to myself. When I was about 65, my A1C numbers kept climbing, and for 2 years, my doctor said, lose weight or go on diabetes medication. I saw where that journey would take me because that was the road that my husband had traveled. He was on 4 shots of insulin a day and had heart problems and kidney damage, and our life revolved around doctor appointments. In 2011, I chose Take Shape for Life because my brother-in-law, who was my age, had lost weight and kept it off for 2 years. I thought if he could keep it off, then maybe I could do it too. I lost 40 pounds, but more importantly, with the help of my coach and the Habits of Health, I learned it's all about wellness, not a number on the scale. I am 75 years old, take no medication, and see my doctor once a year. By following the Habits of Health, I have kept my weight off for over 5 years and kept my diabetes under control. I've even added exercise to my daily activities. I've really added much more living to my life, and because of that, I'm able to care for my 94-year-old mother and help my somewhat disabled daughter. I lost my husband I lost my husband less than 30 days after I reached my goal. I'm so grateful that he got to see me back at my high school weight and healthy, and he knew that I would be okay. He said to me with a smile on his face, honey, I think you should become a health coach. I probably would have chosen that large piece of cake and all that comfort food to fill the void in my life if I hadn't chosen to help others by becoming a health coach and adding a purpose to my life.
It's wonderful, Dorothy.
Very good. Your somewhat disabled daughter thinks that's awesome.
Isn't it amazing what they've drug out of us? I mean, no. But my first draft, when I got it back along the right side of it, every paragraph had a question. Every paragraph had a question. So I didn't even go back to my original draft. I just took her questions and started answering them.
Well, and we only can talk for 3 minutes. And it can only be 3 minutes long. So you really got to condense everything.
Well, once we just start speaking, and which is the next part of what she's going to work with us, is how to deliver. And right now it sounds like we're reading it because we are. But tomorrow night we meet, right? And the next part of this is learning how to deliver it without referring to the paper. But everybody's good with what Dorothy said? Any helpful critiquing? No?
No, it was good. Excellent.
I thought so.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was too, Dorothy. Lisa, you want to go?
Give me 1 second. I'm waiting for it to come up. I don't have a printer up yet, so I'm going to read it off my other computer.
All right.
As a teacher, I give the lady an A+ for her speech.
Oh,
I had a lot of help. A lot of help.
Yeah.
yes.
You'll get an A+ from me.
All right, so then I will go ahead and start while Lisa's getting hers together. And my name is Connie Torres. I'm 67 years old. I reached the age of 30. When I reached the age of 38, I was very much an outdoor person. I love biking, hiking, golfing. If it was something competitive, you could count me in. When I was 38, I was in an accident that left me injured. I was treated with injections to control my pain. These injections were administered to me only after they had induced amnesia. So the funny story, but not so funny ending, while I was under the influence of the drug that induced the amnesia, I was eating nonstop. I would eat again after the drug wore off because I didn't have a memory of having been eating all day. I was rapidly gaining weight and didn't understand why. One day when I was complaining about the weight I was gaining, my husband barked at me and said, "You shouldn't be surprised with all the food you eat." And only then was it clear to me what was happening. I stopped treatment. The years passed me by. The suffering continued, and so did my weight gain. I stopped treatment. I did that. I gave up worrying about my weight for my own peace of mind. I gave up and just accepted this was going to be my life. I have 3 sisters. My oldest sister has been obese most of her life. My next sister gained and lost weight throughout her life. Mary, my younger sister, and I had no weight issues ever until midlife. We knew we had an obese grandmother. She was very obese, so it was easy for us to correlate her weight with ours. We came to believe it was in our DNA. Mary called me to share the news about the program she had just started. I let her talk, but I wasn't listening. It was only after seeing her a few months later and her transformation that I called her, and this time I was listening very carefully. In October 2010, just before my 61st birthday, I did start the program, and started at 249 pounds and lost a total of 76 pounds. For 22 years, I had spiraled out of control. I don't believe my obesity was caused by my accident, even though it certainly was the catalyst. I believe that all of life's hard knocks kicked in, and I folded under the pressure and just gave up. What is one to do when just getting through a day is an effort? I was racked with pain, and sleep was a distant memory. I was wheelchair bound because my feet could no longer carry my weight. After losing the weight and returning to health, I became a health coach. As much as I enjoy helping others, that was not my primary reason for becoming a coach. By becoming a coach, I was increasing my likelihood of maintaining. It is true that when you are a health coach, it keeps you inspired to do better, not just for yourself, but for all those that you inspire. It is one thing to let yourself down, but no one wants to let anyone else down. The difference in me since joining Take Shape for Life is monumental. I am back to enjoying my outdoor activities again. I am not pain-free, but I am not consumed with pain. And instead of nights of 4 to 5 hours of restless sleep, I now enjoy sound sleep, and I am able to sleep all night again. Now my peers, instead of judging me, often praise me, and that is for sure a good feeling.
That is great. Good.
Very good.
Yeah,
Very good.
amazing. Lisa, are you ready?
I am.
Okay.
So, I'm reading it, so you'll have to bear with me. My name is Lisa Griffin. I was introduced to Take Shape for Life by my aunt, Connie Ellison Torres, who is a Take Shape for Life, a certified Take Shape for Life health coach. And then I talk about my before. So I was a wife, a mother of 3, and on active duty in the Marine Corps. I was physically fit and healthy. I was deployed to Kuwait and served in Desert Storm in 1991. I was honorably discharged in 1994. I had to be medically discharged after I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder type 2 severe. Life as I had known it ceased to exist once I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. The next 20 years of my life included major loss, major pain, and major obstacles. I was so debilitated by the mental health diagnosis that my marriage of 13 years ended. I was medically unfit to be a mother to my children. I had to surrender them to their father's care. I was so heavily medicated that I was barely able to manage myself. I had electroconvulsive shock therapy 8 times after medication didn't help me. I went on to survive 10 plus suicide attempts. My eldest daughter found me after one of these suicide attempts. She saved my life that time. I gained and lost 150 pounds. I gained and lost 120 pounds. I gained and lost 105 pounds. I yo-yoed 30 to 50 times, many more times, as I dealt with the devastating effects of the multitude of medications I needed for the bipolar disorder. At my heaviest, I weighed 285 pounds versus my average 135 pounds. Neither inpatient nor outpatient treatment afforded any relief. I especially despised my illness because for all outward appearances, here, let me turn my phone on. Sorry. I realized I had it sitting here and on. Okay. Pardon me. Okay. I especially despised my illness because for all outward appearances, I was perceived as healthy. Yet I am a disabled veteran. Nobody got it. Stigma was horrendous. It wasn't like I was missing a limb or wheelchair bound. I cannot express how demeaned I felt at the disabled label. My preferred diet completely excluded any food considered nutritious or healthy. No vegetables, no fruit whatsoever. Definitely nothing green. Not much lean either. Meat, potatoes, biscuits, pizza, fast food, and junk food galore. I never drank water. My hydration was Mountain Dew, period. I either slept all the time or not at all. Mood up for 2 or 3 days, then hit bottom and stayed in a black pit for months on end. I only saw my children when they brought me handfuls of medication and a drink. In addition to the plethora of medications for the bipolar disorder, I had to seek pain management for my back, neck, and knee injuries. Subsequently added heavy narcotics to ameliorate or help my physical pain. I was depressed, which causes pain to feel worse than for someone without a mental health diagnosis. I was too overweight, overmedicated, and in too much pain to participate in physical therapy for pain or to exercise the excess weight off. At some point, I was in therapy, whining and moaning about how I had been bedridden for months. The therapist asked me if I could make myself get out of bed if the house was on fire. Well, of course I could get out of bed if the house was on fire, I said. Light bulb. From that point forward, I used the my house is on fire mentality. Then I'm talking about after. So I say, enter, take shape for life, happy and healthy. I started the 5-in-1. 3 days later, for the first time in 20 years, I felt fabulous. I had energy. I could concentrate. I was not hungry. The change was so dramatic that I was dumbstruck. My mind flashed back through the slides from my last 20 years, and I was screaming inside. How much of what I had gone through was lack of nutrition versus horror of horrors, a true and devastating mental disorder diagnosis. I lost 32 pounds, reaching my goal weight. I was then able to walk, ride a bike, travel, play with my grandchildren, help care for my mother, and so much more. I will always have to take medication for my bipolar diagnosis, just far less, since I'm now able to glean the nutrition I was lacking from the Medifast feelings. The program works when you're compliant. I veered off the compliant path after reaching my goal weight. I packed back on 32 pounds I had lost, plus another 30. How thankful I was to have the 5-in-1 plan, though. I lost 50 pounds and have maintained that loss. I am within 10 pounds of my goal weight with every intention of reaching that goal. My pain management doctor was my first client. He witnessed my weight loss, losing the weight, improved nutrition, and properly hydrating my body gradually and significantly decreased my pain level. Then at my request, my doctor worked with me to significantly decrease the amount of narcotic medication that I had been utilizing. I chose to explore other non-narcotic means to help with my pain. For example, water physical therapy, hot tub, topical analgesics, chiropractic care, acupuncture, medical deep tissue massage, and occasionally over-the-counter non-steroidal inflammatory drugs. I have witnessed a lot of success stories where people were able to improve their health enough to prevent or preclude the need for medication for diabetes, blood pressure issues, and so on. I am repeatedly elated to see the positive impact that making better nutritional, dietary decisions can have on quality of life. In my case, I missed the preventive opportunity boat. Yet, nutrition brought the real Lisa back from the dark place. I'm not done. I got something's blocking my text here. Let's see. My choice to get with the program by no means cured my bipolar disorder. My choice to get with the program did not erase the medical need for prescription medications for my bipolar disorder. My choice to get with the program did not delete the previous need for pain management medical care. My choice to provide my body with proper nutrition enabled me to educate and advocate for my best medical interest. The direct result of nutrition I take on the program is that I am living life now, not barely existing.
Wow. Very good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So now you're going to get to experience a little bit of the learning session we went through. If you'd have heard me and Dorothy with our first draft, we would have been like Lisa. Lisa hasn't had her second meeting with Allison. She was supposed to do it this afternoon and she got delayed. So hers is long. Now, this is where I hadn't thought about it, but this is where you guys can come in handy here. It does make a difference when it's a 3-minute story as opposed to a 7-minute story. Would you agree as listeners?
Yeah.
Which one do you prefer, getting all the information or the 3 minutes that pull at your heart the most?
I wish it would be 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish it would be 5 because it's really hard to get it all in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And of course, for us, we have to have it 3 minutes, but down the line, I think 5 is a good amount.
Well, I fully intend for us to go back and use our second one, not our first one, but the second one that we got down to 5 minutes, 6 minutes right there. And so maybe in the future, we'll share with you our little longer version, and then Lisa can share her short version.
How long was that? Did anybody time me?
No, but it was wow. I didn't bother.
Yeah,
I could tell you, it was 7 minutes at least because I looked up there when you started talking. And it was
Can I say something?
Yes, we'd love it, Dawn. You're awesome.
Lisa, I know that had to be extremely difficult for you. I have tears in my eyes because it's so important, the nutritional aspect of people who suffer from bipolar disorder or any type of depression.
Yes.
And your story, I wish it could be a commercial.
Yeah. Yes.
Because having family members who suffer and you watch and you know that you could help them if they would just take the steps nutritionally to help themselves. And it's so important and so awesome that you were able to do that and pull yourself up. And kudos. I know it had to be really hard for you to do that, but it is something that everybody should know and share, that not only is it for our physical health, the pain, the diabetes, but for the mental, people just it doesn't click. They don't understand the connection between the nutrition and what hormonally and chemically goes on in the brain and how it affects our bodies. And I was very moved by yours, and feel that if there's any way that we could make that be a YouTube video, if you'd be willing to share. It's that important, that in my mind, in my heart, that it's that important that people need to know that is so important.
And Dawn, thank you so much. It was hard for me to write, but not in a painful way. I struggled because I wanted to. I am happy to share what I have been through is done. I'm in a better place, and I am I feel blessed that I can say that this helped me, because if it helps anybody else, like, I don't mind sharing personal information. That's kind of sad, you know. I'm mortified that, you know, my daughter found me after a suicide attempt. But if I need to share that to illustrate how important, like you said, the nutrition is, because it was life changing for me. And I was diagnosed in 1992. Okay. And so literally for 20 years, life was hell. When in 3 days, then I find the food, and in 3 days, I'm magically, like, all that energy, not tired, feel great. I asked Mommy, I was mad. I was like, really? I said, in 3 days, I feel this much better. And for 20 years, all this medication and shock treatment and all this stuff, you know, and what I put my kids through was for lack of nutrition. Really? I mean, that was profound for me, and that's what I want to come out.
Did any of the medical professionals ever delve into your eating?
Not once. Nobody ever questioned me about my diet. They just kept throwing pills at me, more pills and more pills. Nobody asked me about my diet. 20 years
that's medical
of hospitalizations. I'm talking out. You see in the movies, you know, where they have somebody in a hospital in a rubber room in a straitjacket. Okay, I have been literally in a rubber room in a straitjacket, and throughout all of those things, nobody ever questioned my diet.
Go ahead, John.
I was just saying that's the way the medical profession is today, is that they put a Band-Aid on the symptoms and they don't go to the root cause of anything anymore. It's just prescribed pills.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking that, you know, during your talk, if that would even help a lot of the military personnel that are coming back with what is it?
Post-traumatic
stress.
Yeah.
You know that once again, all they do is they prescribe pills and label them and send them home. You know, and with no concern to any other aspect, spiritual,
Yes, sir.
you know, dietary or anything else. Just give them a pill and send them on.
Yes, sir.
It's interesting that you bring spiritual up, because Lisa goes to church with us on Sunday, and I can sit there right next to her and feel her being moved on the inside and returning to the little girl that used to go to church every Sunday. Even that spiritual side could be nourished, and it could help bring a person back. That plays into the mental as well as the emotional.
Absolutely, because it's a chemical thing that goes on inside of our body, that the brain, if the brain doesn't have what it needs, all those parts, the neurons, the whatever are firing in our brains that go to those parts, where compassion, where love, where your ability to care for yourself, all those things are regulated by the brain, but they're regulated through hormones and through nutrition. All of that is all a vicious cycle, and it's all together, it's all combined. And it's one of the things that even when I was just as, I'm going to do my mom's air quotes, just a massage therapist, I had an intake form for my patients and my clients that was 4 pages long. And it included, you know, do you drink pop? Do you drink diet pop? Do you drink, what do you eat? What's your food consume? How do you sleep? All these things. And they were just coming to me to get a massage. Okay. But that was part of what I needed to know in order to help them on whatever it is they were coming to see me about. And that's how come I got the reputation and the draw that I had. You know, I don't know, I had a 1,000-mile draw for patients. I had patients that came to see me from Canada, Indiana, Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Ohio, that used to come to see me when I could do what I did. But my brother taught me more than I learned while I was in school as a massage therapist. But he doesn't remember a lot of the things that he taught me because he's not able to. He also is a Mountain Dew junkie, and if I could sue Pepsi-Cola company for Mountain Dew, you know, we would all never have to worry about a dime for the rest of our lives. But I think, Lisa, if we could get you on YouTube and we could do your story, get you a YouTube account, that would go viral and you would have an income from that, because it's that profound, that important, that necessary. That's how I feel about it.
I will, thank you so much. I will offer you this. These Huddle Ups are in YouTube. So
they're private though.
You have my permission to share my part.
Mm-hmm. Well, I like what John said, Lisa, and I think I'm very much interested in targeting veterans that are coming back and having a lot of problems, and I think you and I'll discuss that a little bit later. And
but also, Connie, look into getting her a YouTube account specifically for her, because after so many hits on YouTube, you get paid.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you got to be careful, though. You got to be we're dealing with Take Shape for Life and Medifast. So what you put on YouTube, you have to be very careful about what you say.
Yeah, we'll be good about it. We'll figure that out.
Right. Look into it.
I have a question for those of you that watched. When I wrote this, I really tried to highlight the before and the after, and that the difference was nutrition. Did that come across?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I want Sue and John to share something if they don't mind. Go ahead, John. You're saying something.
I was going to say, I thought all 3 of your testimonies were extremely powerful.
Absolutely.
And I think all 3 of them did that also. That, like when you're telling your story, I've been trained on how to tell my story, but for a different purpose.
Yeah.
It was for spiritual purposes. And you tell who you were before, how you met, and then who you were afterwards. And that's what the 3 did.
Oh, there
you go.
Who you were before you found Medifast, how you found Medifast, and then who you were afterwards.
Well, I found it really beneficial for me. I'm not a person who, if you ask me what I did, I'll tell you within 10 words and it'll be done. I don't really like to belabor the subject. And so for her to do that with me really did help, because it wasn't so much just talking about me as it was just telling my story. And I don't think I ever really got that until this. So I want you to share. We were talking about medical. I want you and John actually both to share, but you're the only one who could share, because I'm sure John probably has very little memory of it. When you went to that doctor and they sent you home and he ended up near death, and she said, go home and take fluids. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
Would you share that story and how sick John was and what you guys went through and how you're where you're at today?
Yeah, he had been in the hospital early in December for sepsis and cellulitis. And he was there until the 8th of December and came home, and he really wasn't any better than when he went in there. When I brought him home from the hospital, I had to get 4 neighbors to come help me get him in our house, and we only got 3 little steps coming up to the house. But he kept going, you know, I kept telling him, I said, well, you'll build your strength up, because he had been really sick. And he had a doctor appointment the week before Christmas. And we went to it, and the doctors were out of the country on holiday. So the physician's assistant saw him. And he's in this examining room, sitting in a chair, and he's laying in the sink that's next to him because he has no energy to even sit up.
Oh, wow.
And I had told him, I said, you know, I've been watching his blood pressure. His blood pressure really has been low. It's like 90 over 60. And
Oh, my goodness.
And I said, you know, we got to do something with him. And all the physician's assistant said was, he's dehydrated.
Oh, my God.
So she told him, she says, go home and drink water. So
my blood pressure in the office was 60 over 40, remember?
Yeah, his blood pressure was even worse at the doctor's office. So I brought him home, and he was so tired, he went in the bedroom and laid down, and he slept most of the afternoon. And that evening, I woke him up. I was going to test his blood sugar and take his blood pressure, and his blood pressure was still 60 over 40. And when I went to do his blood sugar, I stuck his finger, and all I got out of his finger was serum, no blood. It was just clear liquid. And I thought, well, something's really wrong here, because his blood's not going to his extremities. It's staying in the core of his body. So I called the life. I told him, I said, you're on the hospital right now. So I called the life squad, and they came and got him and took him over here to Point Siena emergency room. And as soon as they saw him and took his blood pressure and everything, they gave him an emergency unit of blood, because he was so weak and everything. And they sent him then immediately down to Osceola Hospital, where over a period of a week, they found out he had 2 bleeding ulcers. His hemoglobin that was supposed to be 14 was 4. And they gave him 5 more units of blood and a unit of packed red blood cells. And they said if I had not have called the life squad that night, he'd have been dead.
Jesus.
But, you know.
Yeah, and you were in the doctor that day, and they said, go home and drink water.
Yeah. So
Right.
we don't go to the doctor anymore.
Yeah.
Well, it like Mom and I have said, and she asked me, I think Connie was on, about have I followed through with some of the doctor's appointments. They wanted me to see 3 specialists. My son took me to an ER that's close by our house on Tuesday morning. I was running a fever. I just read the paperwork, which absolutely infuriates me. I went there because my whole body was shaking. My teeth were chattering. I was running 103.5 temperature. But they put on the paperwork that I had flank pain, which I did have flank pain, but I didn't go there for the pain. I went there because I was shaking uncontrollably, and I knew there was something wrong.
Yeah.
And they released me from the hospital and said that I pulled my back muscle, and that was what was wrong with me. So my son stayed with me for 3.5 hours, and I just kind of fell asleep in the chair. And so he left and went home to get dinner and stuff with this girl and the baby. And I called him back, and my teeth were chattering so bad. He got here, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes, and he covered me with a sleeping bag. My body was shaking uncontrollably, and my teeth were chattering. And he called my doctor and told him what happened when I went to the hospital in the morning. He said, don't take her back to that hospital. Take her out to Royal Oak so that he could have his brother see me once I got to the hospital. Never in my wildest dreams did I think I had pneumonia. Wasn't coughing. I didn't start coughing until we had been in the hospital for probably 2 hours. Then I started just coughing a little bit. I was bent over in the chair. Sounds kind of like John. I couldn't keep my head up. I couldn't keep my body up. My joints were like, my feet weighed a ton. I could barely move. And I asked the nurse that came by, they had a gurney that's like on as you're leaving the hospital for emergencies, for when they got to get somebody right away. I said, can I just go lay on that bed? I'm going to pass out. I got nothing left in me. I am going to pass out. I can't do any more. She said, no, you cannot go lay on that. I will find. I said, I'm telling you, I'm gonna pass out onto the floor. And so they took me back, and that's when they started. When I got back there, my temperature was up, and I started shaking and chattering again, and rocking back and forth. And that's when they said they were sending me for a chest X-ray, and I was like, I just looked at them kind of weird, but said okay. And so when they came back and they swabbed my nose, and then that's when they came back and said, well, you have the flu. And I'm like, well, that makes sense. I kind of figured I had the flu. But when they told me I had pneumonia, I was like flabbergasted that I had pneumonia. And then they actually looked at the CAT scan they did at the hospital that morning. And he goes, well, did they say anything about the fact that you have an impacted bowel? And I'm like, well, no, they didn't. I'm like, well, that's my back strain. It doesn't have anything to do with my back muscles. I got an impacted bowel, which I kept telling the lady. It kind of sort of feels like a kidney stone, but not exactly. It's kind of lower and more towards the front. I mean, I've had 30 kidney stones, and never, not one word about any of that. So it's like, it's the whole mindset of allopathic medicine is totally different for 95% of the medical doctors in our country. That nutrition, and they listen to 1 or 2 things you have to say, and then they fixate on that symptom. Well, I go in there and they ask me my symptoms, and I just say, I have symptomitis. Okay, I have an inflammation of symptoms. I have so many different symptoms. They're systemic. They cross over. It's not just lungs. It's not respiratory. It's not circulatory. It goes over everything. It's systemic. So that they'll shut up and listen to what it is I'm trying to say, because they just kind of tune out once they get one thing and they fixate on that, and then they don't pay attention to anything else or bother asking you what you've eaten, or have you been to the bathroom, or any of those kind of things. They just kind of stop. And it sounds like that's what happened with John, and it happens all the time. We hear like a gazillion. Every time I talk to somebody that has to go to the doctor, it happens over and over again, just because they look at it in a different light, and nutrition isn't the important thing. And I want to agree with John, even though I was really emotional with Lisa's. My mom, you hit diabetes right in the nail. You hit it, and with what you had to say and how it did for you as far as diabetes is concerned. And Connie, yours was with physical pain. You hit that, and Lisa's was a conglomerate of the physical and the mental, the pain. So each of your stories are like so important to get out there as to what they do and how important it is for us to nutritionally get what we need to have. All of those things that people roll their eyes at me when I, go to the hospital and I say, yeah, I'm taking potassium and magnesium and manganese and, a B complex and, B12 and whatever it is I say to them. They roll their eyes at me like, why are you doing all that? Well, I drink 154 ounces of water a day. Okay, even if I could eat enough food to get all of the nutrients that I need, I'm flushing them out because I have to drink so much water in a day. I physically have to. You guys, some of you, like if my Aunt Jan was on here, I could probably drink her water that she needs to drink in a day because I just have to because of my disability. But it's so important, but because I know what I know, I have to supplement, even though I eat healthy and I eat clean and I get nutrition from the food that I eat because I eat so clean. I drink so much water, I flush all those nutrients right out of my body, the majority of them. So I have to supplement those important nutrients that the body has to have on top of that. So,
well, I'm going to go ahead and thank you, Don, and thank all of you for your input. We're going to have stories from other health coaches because this is not just us. Huh?
I don't think John really got a chance to talk after his wife talked about what happened to him.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
In the hospital. Did you have any input on that whole incident how you remember it?
Oh.
Just that I had never in my entire life felt that way. When Sue said she was going to call the life squad on me, she wanted me to get up and get dressed so the squad could come, and I kept saying to her, I can't. And she says, but you have to. And I kept saying, I can't. I physically could not do it. But, like I said once before, she saved my life twice that month. But she took me to the hospital. The first time I thought we were going to Disney, and instead she took me to the hospital when I had sepsis and cellulitis. And then 2 weeks later, she calls the life squad on me and saves my life for the second time. And, I guess really if I wanted to say anything about it, I'm looking forward to getting my health back. I've never been a person that had to rely on anybody for anything, physically.
It sucks.
Don said it sucks, yeah.
And then all of a sudden I became a newborn baby again that my wife had to take care of for several weeks. And so I'm determined to get my health back.
Good.
Amen. And God's going to get you there. You're going to follow the program and you are going to get to where you need to be.
I'm miles from where I was in December already. I still have miles to go, but I'm still miles from where I was in December.
This was a very special Zoom. I can't thank all of you enough for sharing. The Meltdown Challenge Zoom is going to start in like 2 minutes. I intended this to be short so that you would be able to get on the other one and have some time in between, but I wouldn't trade this time for nothing. Thank you very much. And we'll be posting it in the room tomorrow for everyone else, so you might want to encourage them to participate.
Thank you, everybody, for sharing. I'm so glad I stayed for the whole thing. Thank you
for sharing, Don. It was amazing.
Bye.
We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Congratulations, everybody.
Bye.
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 Marsha, I will post that link in the Zoom room. I mean, the Huddle Up, okay?